Mabuhay! My name is Fred Doc Dossel with Mabuhay Credit Union, and it is my pleasure to once again welcome you all back to another episode of Mabuhay Community Corner. If you haven't visited Mabuhay Community Corner before, this is a vlog and a podcast that aims to highlight and to honor our Mabuhay community. Here with me today is Stephanie Medina, the President of Disability Services of 24-Hour Home Care. Stephanie, thank you so much for visiting with us today. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much, Fred, for having me.
Absolutely. Now, just so our audience here gets a little preview, if you will. Do you mind sharing a little bit of your story, particularly, as it relates to your background as a Filipino American?
Absolutely. So my family in the Philippines refers to me and my siblings or my sisters as the mestizas of the family. But I am Filipino and German. My dad was actually in the Navy for many, many years and was stationed all over the world. But when he was stationed in the Philippines, he met my mom. And so they were married after about a year of courting and lived all over the world. So my two eldest sisters were actually born in the Philippines and my brother in Hawaii. And then eventually they came back to California, where my dad is from. And we've been here ever since.
Nice. That's awesome. I mean, I like the fact that you mentioned the courting aspect of things. That's definitely a very Filipino thing, if you will, right? Now, Filipinos, we're sometimes called the caregivers of the world. Why do you think that is?
I think it's just part of our culture. Even growing up myself, my eldest sister was a caregiver for many years. My mother took care of, she was the eldest of all of her siblings, took care of all of her siblings, as well as the elders in the family. And it's just part of our culture. We're very caring people.
I completely agree with you. Now, you mentioned that your sister and your mom has kind of that background, but for you personally, how did you get started within home care or the caregiving field?
Yeah, I actually fell into the home care industry. I knew what caregiving was because I had many family members that had been caregivers of some sort, whether it was caring for the elderly, disabled, or even children. But a friend of mine actually referred me to 24-hour home care in 2010. So I've been with the company for over 11 years, but when she referred me to 24-hour home care, the company was only about a year and a half old. It was a startup company in the home care industry. And so I kind of fell into it, but I quickly realized that it was something I was missing in my life, which was a rewarding career of being able to impact people's lives. And so now I get to do it, and I've been doing it for the past 11 years.
Wow, that's amazing. That definitely is a career at this point, right? It's not just a job; it's a vocation, if you will. Now, what does 24-hour home care provide your clients and your clientele?
Yeah, so we provide caregivers and companions to assist the developmentally and intellectually disabled, as well as seniors in their home with non-medical home care assistance. So activities of daily living, meal preparation, medication reminders, things of that sort.
Nice. And how big is the staff?
We have over, I would say, about 10,000 caregivers and about 150 support care employees is what we call them.
Wow, that's massive. It's definitely not a startup at this point, right? That's amazing.
No,
I
not anymore.
I love the fact that you got in pretty much from the ground up, and over the last 11 years, you were able to build up a career for yourself while also establishing a company to a huge one at this point, right? Now, what if someone out there is looking for a job or a career, why should they consider a role in caregiving with 24-hour home care? What makes 24-hour home care unique compared to other agencies out there?
I love that question. Anytime that someone asks me about caregiving, I'm always really excited to talk about it. I think caregiving, besides it being a very rewarding career, the nice thing about caregiving in general is that you have the flexibility of schedule. So it's really great for people that want to kind of make their own schedule and choose when they want to work and kind of how they want to work. Also in home care, with home care agencies, people would be eligible for overtime. And then also there's the one-to-one care. So it's where the caregiver is caring for one client at a time, versus for caregivers that are working in a facility setting, you could be working with 7 to 10 clients at a time. So you don't get that personalized experience. But more specific to 24-hour home care, some of the benefits are we actually do like paid training. So all of our orientations are paid. We do COVID-19 training. We provide all of our caregivers with personal protective equipment. So that's PPE. We have a ton of benefits. Caregivers are actually eligible after 90 days to receive healthcare benefits, whereas if you're working privately, you don't actually have access to those healthcare benefits. So there's a ton of reasons why it's really exciting to actually join a company like 24-hour home care. And we also have locations in California, Dallas, Texas, and over 16 different locations here in California.
That's amazing. I mean, there's definitely a lot of support. It's not, again, it's not just a job where, somebody kind of clocks in and clocks out. There's a lot of support with the training, obviously with, the world being the way it is right now in this current pandemic. I love the fact that there's training as well as PPEs provided to keep, your staff and obviously your clients safe. So that's amazing.
Absolutely, especially too. It's a very stable career right now, especially with the pandemic happening. There's a huge need to provide care in the home because it's the safest place for seniors to be.
That's true. Instead of being in like a group setting, which, if I remember correctly, that's actually where a lot of outbreaks were happening, right?
Exactly. And so that's why we've kind of been at the forefront of really being able to get ahead of things and come up with a safer at home program for our clients, but also for our caregivers. So providing them with the proper PPE and training so that way they can do their job safely.
So that's really where the one-on-one ratio comes into play, because otherwise, like you mentioned, if they were in in a facility, it's not only are there obviously multiple patients, multiple clients, but the staff is obviously a lot more also. Whereas if you are one-on-one with a trusted caregiver, that mitigates the risk involved. So that's awesome. Anything else you wanted to share about the company and what you all do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're, another great thing about 24-hour home care is we've been around for 12 years now. And so we are an award-winning company. We've been in awards like Great Places to Work of Greater America, Inc. 5000. We've been honored 8 different times. And so we've really been able to position ourselves as one of the expert home care companies out there. And so the way that we're able to do that, though, is through our caregivers and really making sure and training our caregivers to deliver care to the best of their ability, and then enhancing their experience through like diagnosis-specific care trainings and other trainings that help them provide better care.
Awesome. Now, if any of our viewers wanted to reach out, for specific questions to 24-hour home care, or if they wanted to apply, how can they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So actually, if anyone's interested in home care services for their loved one, they can actually go to our website, which is www.24hrcares, so cares.com. And they can actually reach out. There's a phone number on there to call, and we have a dedicated intake team that can field any questions that they have. But if they're looking to apply as a caregiver, we can actually, they can call a specific person. So it's Samantha, who's our recruiter out of our Torrance office. And her phone number is 310-844-1844. And we actually are offering a $100 bonus for Mabuhay Credit Union members. So just mention that. The other thing is if they are already home care aid certified here in California, they actually would be eligible for a $200 hiring bonus if they join us.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, not only do our viewers get an opportunity to get a job and a career, there's a sign-on bonus involved. So that's awesome. That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. So there you have it, folks. I mean, thank you, Stephanie, for helping to enlighten our viewers about caregiving as it relates to our Mabuhay community and how our 24-hour home care serves our Mabuhay community. Any other parting words for our audience before we wrap up here, Stephanie?
No parting words, but thank you so much, Fred, for having me. And if anyone has any questions about home care, feel free to reach out to us. We're always willing to answer any questions, as well as for caregivers. If you're looking to actually get into this and don't have any experience, feel free to reach out to us and we can give you some guidance.
Awesome. Thank you once again. So folks, if you haven't yet already, please do ensure to subscribe to our channel to follow our show here and the rest of the content that we put out. And in closing, allow me to share today's penny for your thoughts, which is courtesy of Rosalind Carter. There are 4 kinds of people in the world: those who've been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. My name again is Fred Doc Dossel with Mabuhay Community Corner. Salamat and Mabuhay. Subscribe.